it is what it is.
Julian, rusty were you? How rusty were you?
I wasn't too rusty. I've been in and out of practice for the past couple weeks, even before that. But just to come out and play that many reps in a game was definitely a new experience coming off, that little injury. So I guess there was a little rust involved, but as time went on, it felt good to get in a little groove.
The hamstring.
Yes, sir.
Those can be tricky.
Yes.
You think you recovered, then boom. How was there any kind of fear that you weren't completely back?
There's always going to be a little bit of fear and doubt with the hamstring, just because it takes so long to get healthy. So I would say I still probably have a little bit of fear, opening up fully, but I still think I'm close enough to 100% to go out there and compete. So like I said, it just felt good. Knocked the rust off a little bit, but hammy overall is pretty good.
You were kind of thrown into a similar situation last year. All of a sudden, Chris is not playing, so you're thrown out there and really getting your first real reps. Are there things you took from that Big Ten championship game that you could have applied on Saturday?
Oh yeah, so there's definitely a lot of stuff that I could apply. Just being not necessarily thrown in, but those practice reps and all those things count. Throughout the year and throughout the season, especially that week. So just being able to take practice to the field and banking those reps each and every week.
Your body hasn't really been kind to you.
No, sir.
Basically since high school, and yet you've developed into what you did as a recruit, and now you're kind of here. I don't know, is it frustrating going through all of that? You never really got to show what you really were made of, basically since high school.
Yeah, it's definitely been a frustrating process, but I'm just taking it day by day, trying to continue to get better and continue to stay healthy, and that's all I could ask for right now. I'm trying to be professional about it, get in the training room as much as possible, and we have one of the best training staffs in the country, so they're just trying to help me get right and stay healthy.
When did you actually start feeling healthy from your shoulder in a way that you could actually have an impact in college football?
From the shoulder, I would say my shoulder was almost around 100% even at the start of the season and in camp, and I was cleared a little while before that. So just throughout that time, building back confidence in it and that range of motion, that was probably the only thing that just take a little bit of time.
Was that a catch?
I think it was a catch, but like I said, they didn't call it a catch. It is what it is, but I'm going to count that one in my head.
I'm sorry if they asked you about it. It looked like you got the foot down. I wondered if you guys had film study on Sunday and what Coach Hart thought? Or
Yeah, Coach Hart thought it was a catch. I thought it was a catch. I saw a couple angles of it, and it looked like a catch. But like I said, refs make mistakes. People are people, and just on to the next.
So do you get credit for it in the room, or?
We haven't really talked about it that much since. We're kind of we're on the Purdue right now, so that's kind of the talk around.
How does Garrett look this week?
Oh, Garrett looks great. You really can't even tell that he missed an entire week, but he looks good, and Garrett will be Garrett. He's a freak athlete, and he's a great receiver.
Has it been hard to stay patient? Being midway through your second year here, and you still haven't had the chance to play that much.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to be patient. There's obstacles and stuff that you have to overcome in that time. But just being behind such great guys and such great people that I came in with, and the classes ahead of me, it's been a great learning experience. I'm just going to take a lot of stuff from them into the future.
What are the biggest things you feel like you're learning from being with Chris and being with Garrett?
Oh man, there's so many. I don't even know what to name, but patience is a big one because I'm not a very patient person. I'm just coming in and being patient, and just to be a route technician and operate at a high level and operate like a pro, just as they do.
Is it harder to be patient when, you and Jaxon came in here together and you're seeing what he's doing on Saturday, and because of injuries, whatever, you just haven't been able to show that yet?
No, I wouldn't say I don't think it's hard to be patient in that scenario. Jackson's a great athlete, and you see what he could do this year, and everybody knew that coming in. He's a great receiver, and he's a great dude. He's one of my best friends. So I would never hate on that or anything. I think it's great to see how successful he's being this year.
Coach Hartline was saying last week how he's not rotating a lot, and he knows when he was a receiver, he didn't want to come off the field much. Does he talk to you about that? But like, hey, stay the course. Next year, your time will come, and you could be the guy that's getting all the reps.
We've had conversations like that, but I would say we're more focused on the here and now, and what we're doing well, and just continuing to build and continue to get better.
Kind of along those lines, he was telling us last week that he's seen you do things in practice, even just in the last couple of weeks, that were kind of like turning his head a little bit. So how do you feel about yourself, just the progress you've made this season, regardless of whether, because of this roster situation, it's hard for any other receivers to get on the field?
I feel like this year has been, a very big step for me. Last year with the shortened year and the shortened amounts of practice and camp time, I feel like this year has been a big step, and I'm feeling like I'm, improving each and every week, and I'm hoping to continue that.
Do you feel more like a wide receiver now? In high school, your offense was sort of, one-dimensional, except for just throw it to Julian and let him do what he does. But
Do you feel like you've become the receiver you planned on becoming here?
Yes, sir. I think, the best way that Coach Hart and I, we talked about it before when I first come in, I came in as, I would say, just like an athlete, just regular talent, raw, not very polished or anything like that. But in the past, 1.5 to 2 years, I feel like I'm starting to grow into that receiver role. And I definitely think the sky's the limit. So I hope I can continue to get better and, reach that ceiling.
Was there a player that helped you get to that? Like, that helped you become a receiver? Like, that you watched or was an example to you?
Oh man, there's a lot of guys that we watch, but just seeing Chris and Garrett, how they operate, Terry when he was here, even Jaxon now, but just seeing how those guys move and their body movements and everything that they do on the field is it's really easy to learn from things like that and take that in your film study.
Is it weird to learn stuff from Jaxon? I mean, especially with you guys coming in together. Is that weird for you?
I mean, I guess it could be weird, but at the same time, he's such a great receiver, and we have very different body types and different movements. So being able to incorporate some of his game into my game would be a real an advantage for me.
Given how
You just mentioned that when you're talking about yourself, you said the sky is the limit. So is that something that you've always had, like the confidence? I'm sure you had it in high school because you were really good at high school. Have you been able to carry that confidence through, and how do you maintain that level of confidence with the different things that you've had to go through last couple of years?
I would say confidence is, I don't know. I want to say it's genetic, but it's not really genetic. It's just, it's kind of a mindset, and I like to keep my same mindset, even through all the ups and downs and things that have gone on. I'm always going to keep my confidence, and I never want to trickle over in that cocky stage, but I'm always going to have confidence in myself and the things I can accomplish.
Do you have to remind yourself sometimes, like, hey, I was not only a top wide receiver in the country, but like a top 5 player, period? Like, do you ever try to remind yourself, like, hey, I can still do this. Like, I know exactly what level I can get to, even at Ohio State.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I resort back to high school, recruiting rankings and stuff like that. But I would say, I like to resort back to, saying I know who I am and I know what I can do as a player and as a person, and just continue to stay focused, stay humble, and continue to grow.
So what could Jaxon learn from you?
That's a good question. I never really thought about it. Like I said, we do play very different. I'm more of a bigger kind of run through you kind of person. He's real shifty and agile. So, I mean, I guess they are two very completely different things. I don't know exactly what he could learn from me, but I learned a lot from him.
Who's faster?
Who's faster?
Yeah.
And how far?
40. We're gonna go 75 yards every time.
I think I'll get him in a 40.
And also, but given how the last 2 years have gone, and how you and Hartline talked during recruiting about how this might go for you, do you still feel like you're on schedule and developing the way that you wanted to develop here, even if you've had setbacks that weren't necessarily on the field all the time?
Yeah, I would say the setbacks did set me back a little bit, but at the same time, I do feel like I'm coming to be what I was supposed to be here, and like I said earlier, I feel like I could just continue to get better week in and week out, and I'm hoping to continue to do that.